It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Cervisiam in Norway, and it's a can of their Headbanger Facerip Imperial Blueberry Gose, coming in at 6.5% ABV in a 330ml can. Terrific wrap on the can. I've always really liked Cervisiam's artwork. I've always really liked what they do as a brewery. We'll get to all of that in a moment. First of all, let's get the beer out into a glass, see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the can opening. Beer in the glass then. Ho 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 ho! Look at the colour on this! Have a listen. Listen. You can hear it dissipating, the head dissipating really quickly. It looks like some kind of blueberry juice. Amazing, nice levels of carbonation, quite a clear looking beer. I'd like to thank Morton. Morton, thank you very much for this beer. Thank you very much for this beer. I'm going to get straight in and get the aroma. Yeah, really kind of lovely. Yeah, it's all a bit muted. It's all a bit like it's not really doing much in the aroma. You get some blueberry, and then you're really kind of like stretching your nostrils to really get a big aroma on the beer. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh. Oh. Do you know? Let me explain. You guys know a Gose. A Gose is a German style beer where they add salt to the beer. In this case, if you go too heavy with the salt, it immediately, the moment you put the beer to your mouth, it tastes like seawater. It's like that. Do you know when you go swimming in the sea and you're fighting sharks and falling off your surfboard and whatever you're doing in the sea, and you're taking a mouthful of seawater and it's like the worst thing ever, and you're coughing and you're sick, and this is like a mouthful of seawater because of the amount of salt that they put in the beer. They've made a bit of Cervisiam. I've never had a bad beer from Cervisiam, but they've made a hash. They've made a bit of a hash of this. It's too salty. It's too... There's certain parts of the world, there's certain seas in the world that have more salt content than others. And the more salt content a sea has, an ocean, a sea, a channel, an Atlantic, whatever, the more salt parts per million or whatever, the more you can float. I reckon if I laid in a bath of this, I think I would float to the top. Immediately I would float to the top. It's really salty. It's really salty. And there's not enough sourness really coming through. It's a bit like salty blackcurrant juice. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame. I've had some wonderful beers from Cervisiam, but unfortunately they're talking about here. They're talking about the sourness in this beer. They're saying it doesn't really matter who you came to see to play. All we want to see you do is rip your face away. And they're talking about the sourness. Thumbs into your eyeballs. Stick your fingers in. Rake your hand across your face. And pull apart your skin. There's nowhere near. I know what they're trying to get at here. If you make a really sour beer, a really incredibly sour beer, it makes you go crazy. It puts me on kind of like, it puts me on my toes. A really sour beer. This is nothing. This is nothing. The only reason why I would put my fingers in my eyes and pull my skin apart would be the amount of salt that they've added in this beer. This hasn't worked for me. It hasn't worked for me. I'm gonna rate it. For me, it's almost to the point where it's undrinkable. And it's a real shame because this beer has been sent to me by somebody who's earned their hard-earned cash. It's not from a brewery. It's not from a company. This is from somebody who watches the channel. And he sent me this beer because he thought I was going to like it. And I'm going to hold my hands up here. I apologise. I didn't like the beer. I'm apologising because you put your hand in your pocket and you earned that hard-earned cash. But I've got to be honest. If I'm not honest in my beer reviews, if I'm not honest in what I'm doing, then... And this person, Morton, knows this. Morton really knows this. If I'm not honest about the beer reviews, there's no point in doing it. For me... I can't give this no more than a 2. It's a 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!